recent case study that I had done. Okay, so this was about 1 month back. The Razorpay, it was design assignment for Razorpay summer internship. All right, so the first thing is whenever you get a design assignment or whenever you're working with a problem, you get a you have a problem statement. You get a prompt. So the prompt that Razorpay gave me was that a lot of people depend on food delivery services for their meals. All right. So during an open-ended research, it was revealed that a lot of users feel that while there are a lot of options for them to order from, but there's a gap between when people have time to order food versus when they actually want food on their table. All right. So the Razorpay product team wants to solve this disconnect by building a schedule feature and extend it to create weekly and monthly subscription. So this was the problem statement given to me. Now I had to come up with a solution for this. So first thing that a lot of designers tend to do is that okay, the problem statement says that they want to solve the disconnect by building a feature. So let's just build it. Let's jump onto the problem statement, which is a wrong method. So what I do is first I understand the constraints. So the few constraints that Razorpay itself gave me was that I had to decide between Swiggy and Zomato and follow their ideology, follow their UI patterns, follow their design language. All right. So again, when design when you solve this design assignment, you have max 3 to 4 days. So you cannot really explore as many options as possible, but still you have to try at least 2 3 options for every solution that you are coming up with. So then you may also take some assumption about to narrow down the problem statement. And usually every startup, every design team gives you a pretty vague how do you narrow down the problem statement, how you can find that okay how you really narrow down the problem statement and nitpick what you have to solve. So for that you can even take assumptions because this is a hypothetical case study. You can take assumption but you just have to call them out. So since यहाँ पे कुछ था नहीं, so I take assumption that people who daily order food are working professional. That will be my TG, target group. Now assumption also have to be based upon something real. You cannot just blindly take any assumption. So how I take that assumption? So I wanted to narrow down the problem statement, so I started thinking this way. So prompt says a lot of people depend on food delivery service for their daily meals, which is clearly not me and my family or my friends because we do not. And the team wants to build a schedule feature. So when do we really schedule things? That when we know that they are going to happen in future for sure, or maybe 90% chance they are going to happen. So who is most likely, or maybe 90% chance they are going to happen. So who is most likely to schedule their meals? So probably someone who has recently moved to a different city. It could be for work. That is professional. They do not know how to cook. They do not have a maid yet, so they might want to schedule their meals for a month or so. Or students who have moved to a different city. They do not have their family with them. They might want to schedule. But यहाँ पर भी there are two TG, student to professional. I wanted to narrow down it more. So I said, okay, now I remove the student part because students usually live in PGs, hostels. They have cook there. So let's just focus on the professional part right there. So I took just how I decided that okay, working professional will be my target group. All the research that I will be doing will be around working professionals. Every question that I will ask for my research will be to the working professionals, right? And one more assumption was that the feature that I am building will be a part of Swiggy app and it will be called Swiggy Rosana. All right.
Okay.
So after that, now as you know that we all use these food delivery apps quite a lot. All right. So we all have some biases in our heart. So when you are designing, you do not want to allow these biases to come into play and ruin your design. So now what I could have done is just make a scheduling feature for working professional. But that would that solve my problem? No. Would that get me an internship? No, because this is not how you solve a problem. You have to dig deeper into it and pick the pain points that these people have. Now I talk to 20 such people through one-on-one phone call. This is how I do my research usually. And I talked to them. I wanted to know that what are their ordering habits, how do they order food, what time of the day do they order the most, what time of the day do they order less, and why is that? And I wanted to know why they are doing something while ordering food, and are they using anything right now to solve their problem? And if yes, then what are the problems they are facing? Now, it doesn't have to be an app necessarily. They could be using a Dabba service or anything. So I asked them a few bunch of questions, and after that, I got to few insights. 18 people said that they wanted cheap and healthy food. So this was my assumption that okay, they are, since they are working professionally, they would be conscious about their budget. They would want to eat healthy food because every day you are ordering from outside. You do not want to get sick. That's so that assumption was validated. 14 of them said that they were likely to skip breakfast because they might be in hurry for their office. Now, 8 of them said that they find themselves skipping lunch often because they are busy with their work. So they lost the time of the track of the time. 9 of them said that they had used lunchbox services before delivery apps, and it tied them to a limited number of choice, and they didn't like them. Alright. All of them said that they were worried about getting COVID because they are ordering baby food. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. These were some insight that I got from them. Now, one thing about that research that you do not ask questions that are answerable as yes and no. You have to ask open-ended questions and let the user talk and drive the conversation through your questions. That's how you get these insights from them. Right? So now, if we have done our research, let's zoom out a little bit and rephrase the problem statement. So now the problem statement is, as a budget conscious working individual, which is the user, I'm really busy all day. And I find myself skipping meals, which is my pain point, which is not healthy for me. And I want to eat healthy food. I don't want to skip meals. This is the problem statement, a narrowed down problem statement that we will solve. Simple problem statement. So the story somewhat looks like this. Suppose there's a person called Ananya. Ananya is really busy working in his office, and it's lunchtime in 15 minutes, and he has lost the track of the time, and it's 4 p.m. Now lunchtime has already got over by 2 p.m. Alright. So he's thinking about, oh shit, ordering something. He's thinking about that. Let's just order something, but he'll be leaving the office soon. So he decided that he'll have dinner directly. But now Anil is frustrated because this is something, not this is become his habit, which is not good for his health. So this is really frustrating for Anil. So this is the problem statement that we will try to solve,
Okay.
along with the pain point we discovered. So the pain points that we got was that, of course, there's a gap between people when people have time to order food and when they actually want to have food. They are aware of bad habit of eating outside food, so they want to try something healthy. They do not want to skip their meals, and they do not economical options, cheaper options. But of course, I cannot. So this is how the whole sneak peek of the whole flow that looks like. So let me just wait for it to reload once again. And now it's done. So the order is placed. So yeah.
So
So you add your delivery address. Alright. You change. You select your meal, whatever you want to have. Alright. You add it to cart. Some information shows up. You select day and time. You schedule your own meal. You tell them if you want to repeat it every Wednesday. You select how you want to get updates. Proceed to payment. You see the summary page, and then you make payment. That's it. That's the flow
nice.
looks like. Isn't complete yet. Just scroll down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so the flow somewhat looks like this. So you added the address, you selected the food, you scheduled it, you made a payment. Now the payment is still with Rosa, still with Swiggy folks, but
Hmm.
it hasn't reached the shopkeeper yet. It will only reach the shopkeeper after the delivery agent is assigned. Then money will be transferred to vendor and the order gets delivered. Now you may ask that why is that happening? Why money is transferred to the vendor after the delivery partner is signed? So just scroll more. So if you see that, suppose you have scheduled a pizza for Saturday for your home and have already paid the amount. Now what problems can happen? Many times there is sudden surge in delivery due to bad weather and traffic, and we cannot predict that. Now at this present time, both in Swiggy and Zomato, this extra cost has to be borne by us. Alright. So if you have already paid the amount, you cannot ask again for the user that Barish will let's just pay. That is not how it works. You cannot reschedule it to any other place nearby because the price is already paid. And if you increase the distance even by a little bit,
Yeah.
right, price is directly proportional to the distance, price will increase, right? So you cannot do that. If you want to add another pizza, you cannot pay for the second pizza. You have to uh, you have to place another order, but the ticket is closed now for the first pizza. Alright. So these were the problem for that. Uh, the flow that I decided that money will be transferred to the vendor after only after the delivery partner will be assigned. Alright.
Okay.
Now let's come to the home screen part.
Okay.
So the rejected. So when you know deciding, you have to like, of course there was very less time. So I could have only come up with maximum two or three iteration of one scheme. But when you're designing in real time, you have to come up with as many solutions as possible so that you do not have any chance to that you may have missed the best solution. So, but for case studies, you can come up with two or next three solution. It's fine for case study. People understand that. So this is what the final screen would look like. So if you can scroll down a bit, let's just scroll down. Let me show the rejected iteration first. Yeah, these are the rejected iterations. So see that on the left, you can see the first iteration that I came up with. So here is just one button which says add schedule details. All right, but the problem here is that these there are three complex tasks: adding a delivery thing, choosing your meals, select day and time. All these are combined into one thing, which is really confusing for. It's going to be really confusing and really time taking for you. So I said, this is okay. Let's just break down the task into a more steps. So in the second iteration, you can see that I break those steps in the right. You can see add a delivery address, choose your meal, and select it. But still, it doesn't feel like a single task. It looks like there are three CTAs doing three different things. So I wanted to make it look like that this is a part of one process. So in upside in the final iteration, if you can comes up to choose the best and healthy options. So of course I couldn't have made the food healthy because again it depends on restaurant how do they make food. All right. So I did some research, and if you have been to gym or any nutritionist, so how they tell you about your food is that there are four macronutrients about your food:
Hmm.
protein, carbs, fats, and fibers. Alright. So these so if you want to track your diet, if you want to eat healthy, you have to maintain these levels in your diet. Alright. So I said, okay, let's just if I cannot make food healthy, let's just help them making a better choice by showing them that what you are having. Alright. So this is how I thought about it. So in the rejected iteration, you can see that I had shown this information for like literally everything on the browser page for every card, but it's information overload for the user. It's instead of helping the user to choose better, it's confusing the user by showing all the information upfront.
Hmm.
So I said that okay, I do not know, right? So I said okay, I'll still show this information only after I know that user is interested in buying a thing. So let's just suppose take the example of garlic chali. User has tapped, added it into a cart, which is uh, sign that user is interested in buying that. Then only the card expands and shows this information, which is principle of disclosure.
Okay.
That's that. So that's how came up with this page, and you can see that there are a few tags which say about low carb, low protein, and high protein. Now, if you will research about Indian diets, right? So Indian diets are really high in carb, which is the main cause of obesity, heart disease, and a lot of problems. And Indian diets are really low in protein. We do not even consume the minimum amount of protein every day. So, but fats and fiber are at the like good level in Indian diet. So I said, okay, if you either add something, then we will also show that your food is either high in carbs or low in protein, because these are two main important things that we miss every day according to the Indian demographic, because we are developing a product for India. So that's how you decide that what demographic you are designing for. All right. So उसके बाद that there's a common pattern that a lot of these food delivery apps show uses, which is a safety tag around every thing that this is this. restaurant is following WHO guidelines, so I did that to tell them, okay, this is how.
Okay.
So yeah, this part is uh, how to find. So now, right now, since we didn't have uh, any any way of even sort these things based on a price. So I came up with a pretty common. This is not something really out of the box that I had thought, because there's already an answer to the problem. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just use it. You can use the same pattern, and it will be easier on the user's mind. So I can, okay, there is a solution for that. Let's just include the price list level for that. They can set the price and they will check what they want, what sort according to what price budget they have. Right? And then there's also a tag about which option shows that which food has code ongoing offer on it. That's our
Coupons. Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, so now comes the part of scheduling order. So here I have to think more. For example, like up to what point you can schedule orders. You could schedule up to a month, you could schedule up to 2 months, up to 2 weeks, up to one, up half a week. What I had to decide that. So now it's already a tedious task. No, it doesn't matter. Just a hypothetical case study that I had to come up with. It does not exist. As of
Okay.
now.
Nice.
Uh, so where did I left? Last recording कब तक?
Yeah, I think this one part, like the scheduling ki हाँ 1 week we have to schedule under 1 week wala part.
Yeah, we have to schedule under 1 week, right? Because it's too much to ask from the user side to schedule it for 1 month.
Yeah.
Then you set a delivery time. Then you select few updates, which I will talk about further, and then you proceed to the payment section. Right now, in updates, you can see that get updates, WhatsApp, no spam. So there's a reason why I'm doing that. Let's just scroll and explain it why the updates are being sent to WhatsApp.
Okay. This part.
Yeah, right, this one. So now, why updates are sent over? So if you search about notification per day, right? Every smartphone gets push notification about 46 push notification every day, right? Which is
Yeah.
a lot. User, right? So there's a phenomenon called sensitive adaptation, which means that if something is happening again and again, your mind will adapt to it. After some time, it will start developing that, okay, it's like a fixed thing that is happening. Not very good. So 46 notifications, it's a notification that is going to come. I'm not going to pay attention to that. But we do not want users to miss these important notifications about scheduled orders, not just the normal orders, but scheduled orders, because we do not want them to miss food. So I said, okay, let's just send them notification about scheduled orders over WhatsApp. We won't send any spam, any notification about normal order, just scheduled order. That's how I came up with that. Okay, we will send notification to them over WhatsApp. This was my idea behind that. All right, so now let's just come to the next part. Right, so this is the home screen that
Okay.
how it looks like after your scheduled order. Now our sprightly slightly changes from making someone's schedule in order to keeping them informed about what orders they have scheduled. So the schedule your meal thing has moved a little bit down, and this thing has appeared on the top of the screen, which clearly tells you about what next order is going to come up at your place, where is it going to on your location, what the order has in it, boiled eggs or some other stuff, at what time it is going to come. You can see your schedule for 1 week just through one tap, right? And there's also an edit button which allows you to reschedule, cancel, and do all that editing stuff with your order. So let's just come to the rescheduling part. Right? Suppose someone wants to reschedule it, they can tap the edit button there on the home screen, or before before Swiggy places your order automatically, it will send a push notification which says that placing your order in 5 minutes. There's a timer on the right side of the notification, and there's an edit button right there. Now you do not have to open your whole app, tap on that, go through the whole process, go flow to schedule the order. You can directly do it from that. It is reducing the friction. It is making things easier for people. You can tap that edit button, it will take you the same screen of a touch screen. There you can change quantity, change rate, change time. You can cancel your order. And now you can see the cancel button is placed at the top right corner, which is intentional because this place is really hard to reach with the thumb. Usually people avoid from their right. So it is really hard to reach. If someone is tapping that button, we know that it has been tapped. This is what the thinking that go into that. Let's just move to the next section.
Yeah, sure.
But it also has some rejected iteration. Let's just show them first.
Okay.
Right. So these were some rejected iteration. I thought that you would often hear people saying about that reduce the number of tabs, reduce the number of tabs to make the journey easier. So the first iteration was that okay, let's just put banner type of sort of thing on the home screen which says set schedule. You tap that and it takes you another place, whole dedicated place of the Virojana that you can do all the stuff you need to do that. I thought that let's just reduce that, try to reduce that one extra step, one first step, and there's a whole experience of Rosanna on the home screen itself. Now you can see that I try to place it, but again, it blocks the whole screen. It takes all the space above the screen, and this might. So when you are designing something, right? When you are redesigning something, when you are coming with a new feature, you also want to. You are a product designer. You want that your redesign would not hamper the already designed product, would not hamper the sales or anything, right? All the orders. So since the main focus of Swiggy is still the normal orders, we do not want to completely remove them from the about the fold and place the other chota mota stuff on the home screen. So this was even though it reduced the number of steps, but again this was a bad iteration. So I said, but and also here you cannot show, you cannot tell the keep the user informed about their orders because now it doesn't have space left for that. So I come up with a final iteration which is a banner sort of thing, which says that with a little cute illustration which says never skip a meal again to work and a clear city or schedule. You tap on that and it takes you to a dedicated place in the app. There you can do all the stuff that you choose upon. So that's how the whole placement in the we app would look like if this feature had gone live. Alright, so this is how it would move to that. Now let's just move to the use edge cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how life Ananya's life looks like after Sugirodhana. Ananya finds out about Sugirodhana at night. He knows that tomorrow is going to be a really hectic day. He's scared, sets his schedule. He's working. He's working in his office and it's been lunchtime in some time. He has forgotten about his lunchtime already. But now his phone suddenly rings that his delivery guy is at his office. So it reminds of him that you have to have your lunch. He is happy that he doesn't have to forget about his lunch. Okay? So this is how the whole story looked like after if we had Swiggy Rosanna. Let's just move to the edge cases that I described. Now, whenever you are designing now with anything, there won't be a happy case like that case that I told right now. The whole story, it is a happy case, which is there are no problem that had occurred. But there are always edge cases. There will be some small problem that you may have not accounted for, and they will come up for sure. These are some edge cases. So whenever we design something, we try to cover as many edge cases as we can, and if not, if we can, if we are not able to cover all of them, we take it after the launch. But these were the edge cases that I came up with for the solution. So yeah, so let's just so that's it. So in the update section, you can see that. So suppose whatever you schedule something for Saturday. Today is Monday. You schedule something for Saturday. Now Saturday comes and the order is out of stock. What will you do now? How will you order it? So, right. So while scheduling your schedule in the update section, there will be a radio button which says that you can choose either of the options that call me if my order is not available to replace it with something else, or you can say that cancel my order if the order is not available. So the flow somewhat looks like this. That order is placed, this item is this is going in backend. If item is available, yes, deliver it. If item is not available, no. To call by if item is not available, check if the call is by the user. If yes, call in the place and deliver. If call is not allowed by the user, cancel the order. This is a flow looks like. But that edge case, the order is not available. Now comes the second edge case of cancelling a recurring order. That is cancel for once. Suppose you had scheduled a pizza for every Wednesday, but now and today is Wednesday, but you have a party that you have to attend and cannot have that thing. Right? What would you do now? You would cancel the order. But if you are canceling the order, will it cancel for the just one time or cancel all your scheduled orders for every Wednesday? So the thing is, whenever you're going to cancel the order, it will show this pop-up with a cute little GIF which says that the order is supposed to be delivered every month, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. If you want to cancel the order for this time or cancel for upcoming, this is you get an option. So this is how I solved this for this edge case. Let's move to the next edge case. Right. So now you can see that as I told that changing delivery address may increase the price. So what will happen now? So when you are trying to change the price, you will show up a pop-up that with again a little animation that delivery cost must increase. Now user have choice that they can either change the address or cancel it. You know?
Okay.
And we are doing these little things now because suppose you do not ask the user, you change the address and you increase the price and user is thinking that they would be paying something like let's say it was $100 for something and when the order arrives the delivery guy would ask them for 150. They might feel cheated. They don't want that. They will not order it from us. So we have to make sure and keep these little things in mind. That's how these things are. So the now the next fourth thing the edge case was pretty simple, nothing much about it. There was already a solution for that. The time you are trying to order, the restaurant does not deliver the selected time. Restaurant, right? So it will just gray out section and a red message will show up that a warning that it is not available. Yeah, that's about it. Now comes the another part. Why there is no subscription-based pricing. As you can see, the developer said that you would have to come up with a subscription-based pricing, or maybe try to create one. But as per my research, I found out that amount spent on daily food per day per user ranges from 200 to 1200 rupees, which is really volatile pricing. So coming up with a perfect subscription, first thing, let's just admit, I admit that coming up with a subscription would have been a better option because subscription are a better thing, right? You can give discounts and all. But since you are making a case study within 4 days, you may not have the time to come up with a perfect price. So you just clearly tell your interviewers about that, and you tell why you did not do that. So that's why I did not do that because this would have become out of the scope of the case study. Alright. And subscription may also tie user to a specific set of restaurants, and we already know that user didn't like that when it happened before. This is why I did not do it. So yeah, that was the whole case study. That's how I'm cutting it.
Yeah, man. Within a week, you have covered all